Hi, I'm Marteen Santerre from Soul Being, and today I am here with Emily Dunwila from Empower Massage Therapy. Emily is a licensed massage therapist whose passion is to help men and women cultivate body awareness. Emily, welcome.
Thank you.
So Emily, tell us, what is your background and how did you get into massage therapy?
So I got into massage therapy after a couple of years working in education abroad. I was working for the Intercollegiate Sri Lanka Education Program, and I was working with students that were going to Sri Lanka to study in a different culture. And this had come from years in college studying multiculturalism, studying multicultural education. And it really, over the years, I developed this interest in different experiences, different embodied experiences. And I was just fascinated by how we as diverse people experience our bodies in different cultures, in our own culture, in other cultures, in settings where we're not familiar. And so that's kind of where it stemmed, was just an interest in embodied experiences.
Fascinating.
I had the opportunity to study urban education in college, so I studied a lot about education in the classroom from diverse perspectives, so multiculturalism in the classroom. So all throughout college, I was studying how different people experience the public education system differently. So from different races, from different socioeconomic standings, from
that's fascinating.
From rural and urban settings. So I've just always had an interest in people and what their perspective and experience has been.
Wow, that's really cool. So tell us about you personally. What is your history? You talked about from a cultural, socioeconomic perspective, but what is your personal history with body awareness?
Yeah, so I have been a dancer for as long as I can remember, and so from an early age, I was, in the dance studio trying to figure out technique, trying to understand how, how do I balance and do 3 turns? How do I, how do I improve my own flexibility? And I actually came from a background when I was a kid of not super technical. So when I got to college, I was bombarded with really professional professors who expected me to be at a certain level technically.
Very disciplined.
Very disciplined. And so I had to learn very quickly what technique was. I had to learn what it felt like in my body because they didn't have time to teach me from square one because I was 18 years old and I was in a dance company with people that had danced with like the New York City Ballet School, the Boston Ballet School.
No pressure.
No pressure. So here I was with...
You have like a very short learning curve.
Learning curve, exactly. So here I was with the ability to, perform really well and to dance my heart out, but with like very little technique. So I had to learn. I remember like being in my dorm room, like just trying to figure out, like doing my own exercises of like, okay, where does my pelvis and my rib cage have to be in order to balance? Like where I would like set up my computer and take pictures of myself in like attitude arabesque and like, just be like, no, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right.
Oh my God, that's a really good idea though. I guess if you have to study your own technique. As long as like your roommates don't walk in on you doing
I know.
that.
Well, yeah, exactly. There's that. There's that. Just being, I wasn't doing nothing. So I really learned body awareness through that, through just trying to develop dance technique, and it worked to a certain degree. And then the other side of that was also in college. On a not so positive note, I was really struggling with an eating disorder from age 20 to beyond college, like 23, 24. And so here I was trying to build body awareness through dance technique, and at the same time, through various pressures, I developed this eating disorder, which really separated my brain and body.
Isn't that such a like the two opposites there? Like you think you're making so much progress on one hand, and then you're like completely disconnecting on the other.
Exactly. You think that you're doing. You think that you're cultivating body awareness and health by eating a certain way, and by fitting into your clothes in a certain way, by interacting with people in a certain way, by creating a certain image. But what's really happening is, for me at least, what happened was my brain and my expectations of myself to eat a certain amount of calories, to eat a specific amount of my meal, to have a certain, and this is huge, have a certain amount of control over myself.
So really that body awareness was about control.
It was about control.
It wasn't just about the food or looking a certain way, because I think that's something that is not often understood when dealing with eating disorder conditions.
Totally misunderstood, that it's not about looking in the mirror and thinking that you're fat. It's about feeling like you're not in control in your life, and that food is the one thing that you can control.
That's wonderful. So you obviously have, not wonderful that you experienced that, but that you have that, just that to be able to draw from in your practice in massage now, and understanding the ways that people might disconnect their mind and body, and how they can get back into their body.
Right.
So you're one of the few professionals in the state of Maine that practices neurokinetic therapy. So can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so neurokinetic therapy is based on motor control theory. And so your motor control system in your brain is that your brain has certain movement patterns already programmed in from practice, and from, just
habit.
from habit, from when you're a baby to now, whatever age you are. Our brain kind of tells us, if I need to pat Marteen on the shoulder, these are the muscles that I'm going to use. And through injury, through habit, through all different kinds of ways, our brain can begin to turn off certain muscles.
The ones that it's not using necessarily.
And rely on other muscles. So let's say that I've slipped on ice and hit part of my deltoid muscle. So now when I go to pat you on the shoulder, my brain's going to be like, nope, that muscle's out of commission, so we can't fire that.
Literally won't use it at all.
Yeah, and it'll rely a lot more on maybe my trapezius raising like this in order to pat you on the shoulder. So now I have this habit of not going like this, but of going like this.
And now you've created
and now I've created
something out of alignment. You're like, oh my God, why does my neck muscle hurt or something?
Exactly.
So that's how people get.
That's how people get compensation patterns. And then when this happens, my rib cage, my rib cage might tilt. And then in compensation, my hips might do something.
And then you're just lopsided.
And then you're just walking around like this. And so I really look at people. So neurokinetic therapy, to get back to it, is simply put, a system of muscle testing to discover those compensation patterns. To discover, okay, it's your trapezius that's overworking and your deltoid is underworking. So we need to get your brain to reprogram that relationship. So it's a system of specifically timed tests.
That helps you uncover that.
Yes, to engage and release muscles.
And so then does that play into the massage process, or is that a different type of therapy than a massage?
Well, the way that I do it is that I do neurokinetic therapy sessions on their own. I do 75-minute sessions that allows us to uncover usually 1 to 3 patterns in your body. So again, maybe we uncover something here, and then something in your rib cage, and then something that's compensation in your hips. And then I encourage people to book massage therapy sessions after, to really troubleshoot that through massage. So neurokinetic therapy has a certain component of manual release in it. So people certainly walk away with muscles released and engaged. But the massage therapy, I find, the massage therapy is a follow-up to be able to really, in a full body way, release those patterns and unravel those patterns. And
then you're kind of reinforcing that new behavior that the body is going to have to start to engage a certain muscle. Interesting. So, sorry, I was going to ask you a question, and then I totally forgot it. That's okay. So what are you, for you personally, having gone through what you've experienced as a dancer and now as a massage therapist, that's what I was going to ask you. You also teach. Tell us about that, because I think that's really, really unique.
So that's becoming a huge part of my identity as a person and as a massage therapist, is myself as a teacher. So I teach anatomy and physiology at New Hampshire Institute for Therapeutic Arts in Bridgeton. And I basically teach everything from the systems of the body.
Okay.
So the nervous system, the endocrine system, the digestive system, to the muscles. So right now with my students, I'm teaching them the individual origin, insertion, and action of muscles, which you have to learn in order to understand things like compensation patterns.
Yeah.
So I love teaching. I again come from an education background.
Yeah.
So I love being in the classroom, and I find that teaching others really reinforces it for myself.
Sure.
So,
and your clients as well.
And my clients as well.
Because then it's like top of mind, even if you're not dealing with that in a particular session.
Yeah, exactly.
You're coming up with, or you're talking about it. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's always fresh on my mind.
Yeah.
So
that's fantastic.
I'll be talking about something in a lecture in the classroom, and then I'll be working on a client and be like, isn't this cool? Like,
I was that synchronicity.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just talking about the technique of this just yesterday.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I think this is a good thing for people to understand about you.
Yeah.
So then, with you, what I was going to say, so with you personally, and kind of the range of experience that you've had, what are your mindful living practices? What are kind of tools? What's in your toolkit that you use personally to keep that balance and alignment and stay in your body and have it connected to your mind?
That's a great question. Well, I do a lot of practices to try and ground myself because I have the habit of overthinking things.
Yep.
And so I do a lot of things just to make me feel my body and get out of my brain. So things like meditation.
Yeah.
Tai Chi I've just started, and that's been huge for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I love it. And of course dance. I dance at Cascaway Movers, adult classes.
Yay! It's nice to get out there and like shake your groove thing as you
Totally.
get to an adult, you know?
Oh my God, totally.
That's
I
awesome.
take a modern dance class. I try to every week, and then I take an adult hip hop class. And so movement and meditation and Tai Chi for me are huge just to get in my body and get out of my
your
brain.
head,
Yeah. I try to, one thing that I was working with an Ayurvedic nutritionist and massage therapist named Nancy Tripp, and she was talking to me about the importance of when you eat, not eating, just eating and not doing anything else.
Sure. Mindful eating so that you're present to that one task.
And you know about that
I
because
do.
you're a meditation person. Yeah. So it's like profound how much of a difference it makes, because when I sit down to eat now, it's a chore to try and just disengage from everything and just eat whatever I'm eating.
Really present in the moment.
Be really present.
Tasting your food, smelling the food. It becomes a multi-sensory experience. Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, a lot of people find too that you eat differently or more healthy whole foods because you're noticing how it feels in your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
This is kind
Very
of. Can
cool.
I go on a little?
Yeah.
bit
No.
of a
Please keep talking about it.
It's like a little bit of a tangent. But, we were talking about Sri Lanka.
Yes.
About and I have a background with my father's Sri Lankan, and I worked for the Intercollegiate Sri Lanka Education Program. But in Sri Lanka, food is culture.
Yeah.
And food is love. Like, you give food that you've made to someone as a token of appreciation. And you understand this.
Absolutely,
it's in a lot of cultures.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's not as present in American culture.
Yeah.
But anyways, there's this. I don't even know if there is a technique, but we eat with our hands in Sri Lanka. So you have rice, and then you have curries, and you blend it all together with your hands.
Yeah.
And then you eat it with your hand, and so it's like this. The word multisensory made me think about this.
Yeah.
It's like this engagement with your food, with like tactile,
Yeah.
and then you eat it, and you're smelling it, and it's filled with so many different spices. And it's just this amazing
That's really cool.
relationship with food that's like, that obviously, like, as someone who's had a disordered
I was going to say, like, that must really be such a difference for you going from having it be a really, now for your life, having it be a really positive experience where you're enjoying it and you're smelling the food and you're tasting it and you're touching it and you're involving yourself with it versus disengaging it as a control mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Just eating things for the calories versus eating things because you love to smell them and taste them.
Yeah.
and sometimes
wonderful.
touch them.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
It's so cool.
It is.
Food can be wonderful. A wonderful
Food is one of the best things about being human, for sure.
Yes!
It is, literally, food and sleep. All right, so let's talk a little bit more, get back to your practice. So what are the main areas that you specialize in? What is it that you focus on with your knowledge?
So I work a lot with people who have pain through some sort of compensation issue, through musculoskeletal compensation. So a lot of times that looks like issues with range of motion.
I was going to say, range of motion, basically.
Yeah. Issues with stiffness and soreness. Issues with sometimes it's folks who don't necessarily have an injury now, but they've had injuries in the past, and they didn't necessarily take the time to recover. Okay. And now it's coming up again. Yeah. You know, now their bad ankle has turned into a hip compensation and a hip injury, which has turned into a shoulder issue on the opposite side or something like that. Yeah. So I love working with people in looking at their full body and understanding how not just what's going on with their foot, but how their foot is impacting their knee, which is impacting their hip, which is impacting. Okay. So that's where the body awareness comes in, because and because I am an anatomy teacher and an anatomy person, I love to talk to my clients about their own bodies, their own
help them
awareness.
To understand how all of those things are interconnected and related.
Yeah. And
instead of just saying, my back hurts, I want a back massage, and then you're like, no, you really need to get into the full body to understand what it is that's affecting your back.
Exactly, yeah. And I think for me, I do the best with those kinds of really curious clients that want that information, that want sort of like those life hacks in how do I get my back to stop hurting. So I'll help them understand the position of their pelvis. Yeah. That if their pelvis is really anteriorly rotated, their back is going to be more compressed, and helping them understand how to position their pelvis. And so, but that's not for everybody. You know, some people are just help me in this 1 hour and then I'll leave. Yeah. So I really thrive with clients who are curious and who want to want that information and want that kind of almost that adventure and that discovery between both myself and them, because it ends up being kind of a dual effort in terms of I need to know what their habits and compensation patterns are, and I need to know
well, you're working together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's a very easy and succinct way to say what
I got it. Totally got it. Okay, awesome. Okay, awesome. So one last question. I love your enthusiasm. It's so great. What is your favorite thing about being a massage therapist? What do you just love about your job?
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I love working one-on-one with people. I love building that relationship with people. Yeah. And I think I love being able to see people develop body awareness. I really love when people come in with, to bring it back to this analogy, when people come in like this.
Yeah, and they're top lopsided, and they're like,
and they're like, why can't I? And then understanding how important a balanced rib cage is, understanding that they have a scapula bone and that their scapula can rotate, and understanding these things that they don't teach us in school. They teach us a lot in school, but they don't teach us how to listen to our own bodies.
And how to be in our bodies.
So people that are, that thrive in every other area of their lives, but maybe need a little help tuning into their bodies and their anatomy. Yeah. So I'm your anatomy girl.
Awesome. So to get in touch with Emily Dunwila, your anatomy girl from Empower Massage Therapy.
I like that. I should go with that.
Yeah, that's your new tagline. Bumper stickers coming soon. Visit us at soulbeing.com. Emily, thank you.
Thank you.
Have an amazing day.
Bye-bye.